Okay guys, we're back this week. Do y'all have any questions about the stuff that we went over? That's probably been a couple of weeks ago. Were y'all able to use that stuff? No? Yeah, that's good. Excellent. You're gonna do well in this class. So. Okay, we're gonna go over real quick. It should be fixed words. Fixed words, sentences, and paragraphs. It's gonna be real quick because this is stuff that we should already know, okay? So in hyperkeys, you know, you want to reverse a word, it's Shift R, okay? Y'all know that? Slick?
Yes.
In hyperkeys, it's just, just kidding.
Yeah. Anywho. Prefixes and suffixes W. Y'all know the shaving the word? When you're on a word, at the beginning of a word, and you want to shave, say it has like an ES, and you don't want the S on there, and the word ends with an E, and you want to shave it, you do the S. So get on a word in hyperkeys, and do the S. See what it's doing? Let me see if it'll do it in here. I don't know if it'll do it in here. Yeah, see what it's doing? You see what it did? So it just starts shaving the word behind it, okay? Now if you want to shave that word, now it's Shift S, okay? See what it's doing? Shift S. And then, you know, once you want to fix it or whatever, then what's the oops key? Z, okay? Okay, X extends the sentence, okay? So what it does is, say you're at the beginning of the sentence, or whatever, and you want to extend that sentence right here. And it needs to keep going, okay? Do the X, put you at the end of that sentence, put you in insert mode. Got that? It's not that, you're not in hyperkeys anymore. It's not going to let me do it because we're in the tutorial. But that's what you do. So to get back into hyperkeys, you do what? Alt Z. And then just keep doing Z until the period comes back. Okay? So if you're in a job, then it'll do it. But it's not letting me do it because this is a tutorial. So it's not letting me type anything in. Do y'all understand what this function does? Okay. Q in hyperkeys usually puts a question mark, but since it's in the tutorial, it's not letting me do it, okay? But Q will let you do it. Okay, got that? P is the same thing. P adds a period. Okay? Now Shift Q changes it to a question. Okay? Not a question mark. Changes it to a question. To a whole different question, okay?
In hyperkeys?
Yeah, in hyperkeys. See what it just did? See how it changes to a Q?
Oh, it changes the entirety of the sentence to
Yeah.
The whole time I was thinking it's supposed to be changing it to a question mark, and I thought it wasn't working right. Because it says...
Because you're doing Shift?
I don't know what I was doing, but it...
Q puts a question mark at the end of the sentence. Shift Q, totally different. Shift Q in hyperkeys changes it to a question.
That's what I was doing.
But how do you change it to a question just regular?
It says Q.
Guys, seriously? How do you change it to a question? You just want to put a question in there. And you didn't know this before.
Oh, it's F3.
F3. F3 is question, F4 is answer. Okay? But they're telling you how to do it in hyperkeys. Okay?
I thought there was a way that you could change a sentence to a question or an answer. Like if the sentence wasn't a question, you put a question mark instead of a period. It needs to be a period. I thought there was a way to change the ending of the sentence.
There is. P is a period, Q is a question mark.
Why is it not working? I mean, okay.
What do you mean?
Mine doesn't work during, I mean, I can't show you now because I'm in this, but if I were to.
We'll get into something else.
So if this was supposed
So
to.
just put your cursor right there on after whatever about, you know, make a difference. So you want to change it, it has a question mark, E, just change it to a period. All right, got it? Q changes it back to a question mark, right? In hyperkeys. In hyperkeys. Okay? Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how you do it. So Q, question mark, P, period. Now pay attention to this. Shift Q changes it to a question. Okay? But Shift P changes it to an answer. Do you get that? So the P illustrates the answer, not the Shift A. You would think it's Shift A and it's not. It's Shift P. Shift P changes it to an answer. All right? Got it? Yeah. Okay. Shift B butting in, I don't really use that. I mean, you can if you want to. What I just do is, I think it's Alt. It's not letting me do it because it's in a tutorial. Let me see.
Oh, I went back to this tutorial.
Just minimize it. Keep it open. Keep something open. Do you have something open?
What was that?
Alt D. Do it at the end of the sentence. Okay.
So Alt D and then hyperkey B are the same thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't use the hyperkey B, but I mean the Shift B. So if you want dashes, say, you know, he doesn't finish his statement or whatever, it won't let me do it on the tutorial. But you need dashes right here at the end of this sentence, right here. You can be anywhere in this sentence, and you do Alt D. Alt D will put dashes in there.
Oh, yeah, mine put it.
Yeah. So it puts it at the end of the sentence. Okay?
Oh. That's out of hyper, no, it is hyper. Oh,
Okay? Got that? So Alt D will put it at the end of the sentence. Now, say you're right there and you need dashes right here behind it. So you need dashes in between D and wrong. Then all you have to do is the little dash mark up at the top. Do it. Or the hyphen, what is it? Not hyphen, it's a dash. Did it work?
out of hyperkeys.
Should work in hyperkeys too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does it? Slick? Seriously?
What's the
shift?
Hmm?
Activate shift and then hit it twice. Or not shift, but add it twice.
No. Yeah. You have to be on a word. You can't be in the middle of the word. You have to be at the word that you want it on.
Well, look, say I wanted it here.
Yeah.
You
This
know what I
one.
mean?
This one. Not the plus minus. See? So it's not the plus minus, not the plus equal, it's the dash. It's the little, it's the one little dash. Okay?
My equal sign of hyperkeys works for putting it at the end of the sentence.
So what, the B? Shift B?
No, the equal sign of hyperkeys, not unless I'm doing something wrong, which I probably am.
I'm sure.
So I'm in the middle of a sentence and I
Get out
want
of
to
that
dash.
and get into that other.
What, I didn't do it. This is the your turn where it lets
I don't
you-
know that it's letting you do it in here.
So hit the equal.
Hit this, not this, that. See how it did it?
Okay, but I'm talking about at the end of the sentence. Because on this one, like you were telling us to do Alt D,
Yeah.
and that is supposed to do
Yeah,
that.
puts it at the end.
And so then, but if you hit it, the equal and hyperkeys, it does the same thing.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was just curious.
I don't know. And I guess that's what it's telling you right here.
Yeah.
Is the equal sign, I put the dash at the end of the sentence, which is the same thing, which I learned it as Alt D. Which, I mean, if you want to do it, it does the same thing. So the equal sign, where the plus and equal is, you can do it there, but it puts it at the end of the sentence. At the end. What I was telling Slick was if you want to put it in between like order and just, you put your cursor right here on just, and you do the dash, and it does it right there. Not the plus and equal, the dash. Okay? Any questions about any of that?
No.
So with the dash, say none of these keys work, and I wanted to manually put it in, I need to know one space, dash, dash, one space, right?
Yeah. But if you manually put it in, I'm going to smack you, so don't manually put it in.
I don't know, it might be like a test question or something. How many
Oh.
spaces for the dash?
Okay. Space, dash, dash, space. Got it? Okay. All right. Any questions about that? Now we're going to form fills. All right, pay attention.
Let's take a quick look at how to add or modify an Eclipse form field. Here, X marks the spot where I'd like to insert it. Here, X marks the spot where I'd like to insert a form field for my exhibit number. I can get to the Add Blank dialog by clicking on the toolbar icon, or by going to the Edit menu to insert a blank, or by using speed key Control A.
Got that? Control A. Adds a blank. Okay?
Or hyperkey capital E. The field
Or hyperkey capital E. So it's Shift E in hyperkeys. So Shift E will also do the same thing. So Control A, Shift E. You're probably going to use Shift E more. Okay?
key Control A, or hyperkey capital E. The field's label is totally optional. It's just a name that, or hyperkey capital E. The field's label is totally optional. It's just a name that will appear on your blank before you fill it in.
So you see what it's telling you right there? So it's going to ask you what you want to put in there. Okay? So if you're creating a block file for an exhibit, then what you want to put in there is exhibit. So it tells yourself, it tells you what needs to go in there. Oh, it's an exhibit. So it's states exhibit. So you just made a form field to do states exhibit. Okay?
The field size here will be irrelevant because I want this to be an adjustable field that will automatically shrink or grow to accommodate my text.
You see what it's telling you right there? You pretty much always want to do this. Adjustable. So that it adjusts to whatever you're typing in. Okay? Got it?
Selecting a variable, in this instance, tells Eclipse to remember the last exhibit number and show it to me, but prompt me so that I can change it to the next exhibit number. When I press the OK button, the blank is created for me.
You see what it did? So it created that blank, put the number, because what you need in there is the number, and that's what it did. Okay? Got that? Hello?
Why does it say number? What did I do wrong?
Well, you can put in there whatever you want.
So then I add number in here?
You put whatever you want. You can delete all of that and just put number. And adjustable, which it is. You want a variable, prompt for content.
I don't understand.
See? So
But
there it
that's
is.
gonna change when I edit it.
Hyperkey.
So here I would still have to write states exhibit number 1. Like how do I get it to where, see our exhibit number mark? How do I get all that black stuff around it and then the fill in the middle? Like right now I'm just making fill in.
Well, what you need to do is you need to create a block file for it, and we're coming to that. This is just showing you how to make a fill in the blank, okay? And we're gonna learn that later, okay? But that's what you need to learn right now, is just how to create that little field right there, and then it's gonna show you how to set up all of this other stuff. So what she was saying was, how do we create this other stuff right here that's on this other side? And we're getting to that. Okay, we haven't gotten to that part yet. But it's going to show you in the block files how to create a block file and then how to create that form field inside of that block file. Okay? What they're showing you right now is just how to create a fill in the blank. Okay? Y'all got that? Y'all have it, at least this. Seriously?
Seriously, I think this is backwards. Seriously, I think we should have been learning it from that this is how I learned. from the very beginning.
Well, when you teach the class,
But I'm not saying you, I'm saying
yeah.
the way they're.
No, I
they put
understand.
it in
No, I
order.
know, I know.
It's-
But look, I mean, I'm going the way that they tell us how to teach it. And they're telling you how to teach, how to learn how to do this first, okay?
See, I'm not gonna, that's the thing is that I'm not gonna remember how to do this. I'm gonna have to end up
Yeah, you
going
will.
back and then going, and then.
You're gonna ask me anyway, so we're gonna go over it again when we do the form fill, so it's not gonna matter.
So
All you need to know is how to do it. How to create a blank, fill in the blank. And that's how you do it, is Shift E in hyperkeys or Control A, not in hyperkeys. That's all you need to know. And how to name it and what to do once you try to fill it in. So what you name it as number, whether you needed to have a variable on it or whatever. Let me rewind it a little bit.
Last exhibit number and show it to me, but
And that's what they're telling you right there. EN is exhibit number. So the variable is the exhibit number and prompt for contents. Okay? Got that?
prompt me so that I can change it to the next exhibit number. When I press the OK button, the blank is created for me. And let's also make a blank that uses a file listing parties. I want this blank to act as if it were the last field. Now let's fill in these blanks. This number blank is remembering the last exhibit number and making it easy for me to change to the next exhibit number.
You see what it did right there? You see what it did? Guys, this is yes, this is no. If you're not getting it, tell me now. Tell me. Because I don't want to keep going over this stuff and then we have to do it next week.
I just don't understand what I'm supposed to get.
What do you mean?
Like, did I see what? I guess I didn't see it.
Okay, I'm going to back it up again. Pay attention. Because it's going to tell you that's where the variable thing comes in. Okay? On the variable thing, it's telling you exhibit number. So it's telling you what number, and then it checks the little box that tells you, I want it to come up every time I've marked an exhibit. So I don't have to remember next time. I don't have to remember, oh, was that state's exhibit 9 or 10 or 16? It's going to be up there. And it just had it, 237. Well, you know the last one that marked was 237, so all you need to do is back this thing up and put 238 because that's what it's prompting you to do, okay?
Or grow.
And that's what it's telling you right here. On the variable, it needs to be EN, okay?
To accommodate my text, selecting a
Right there. So it needs to be EN for exhibit number. Capital EN for exhibit number, okay? And then you needed to prompt for contents. And the contents is, what was the last exhibit that I marked, okay?
variable, in this instance, tells Eclipse to remember the last exhibit number and show it to me, but prompt me so that I can change it to the next exhibit number. When I press the OK button, the blank is created for me. And let's also make a blank that uses a file listing parties. I want this blank to act as if it were the last field.
You see what it's telling you right there?
I want this blank to act as if it were the blank is created for me. And let's also make a blank that uses a file listing parties.
Use a file list as parties. Put party up there so that you know exactly what they're doing. So is it state? Is it defendant? Is it ad litem? Children's ad litem? Mom's ad litem? Whatever. Okay? So it just lists party. So that's all you need to know is that some kind of party needs to go in there. Okay? And that it's parties down here as a list file. Okay?
What is that?
The list file. And it tells you whether it needs to be state, ad litem, all of those.
What's the function of that? What's the function of having to put something there? What does it do? What's the function?
It's going to give you a list and you create that list.
Oh.
Yeah. All right?
I want this blank to act as if it were the last field.
You also want it as the last field. Okay? So you don't want anything else after that. Okay?
Now let's fill in these blanks. this number blank.
See how I put 237 right there? Because that was the last exhibit that you marked. Okay? That was the last exhibit.
Is remembering the last exhibit number and making it easy for me to change to the next exhibit number. After I filled in that blank, the system scans to the next blank and offers me a choice of parties. When I press the OK button, the scanning stops because this blank was set to act as a last field.
You see what it did? So instead of going down to the next field, it stops right there because you put it as the last field. Okay, so whenever you mark your exhibits, you want to put put it as the last field. Now, if you want to go through and mark all of them, then all you have to do is just keep hitting E. E will take you to the next blank field. Okay?
So what's the, like, I know the difference, but why would one make it the last field versus not making it the last field? Like, aren't you typically just going to keep going through all of them? Don't you want to?
Well, I mean, if you want to, but I mean, like what I do, I don't go through the whole thing. I edit. So like I start at the beginning, I just start editing. I don't go through and mark in all of my exhibits and whatever. That to me is confusing. I want to stay in with the document going all the way down. Oh, okay, they're talking about exhibit 9. I don't have to go back up and say, oh yeah, it's exhibit 9. But, I mean, that takes care of it. So once you mark the exhibit 1, next time you go to the exhibit and you do it right and it tells you the variable and the content, then it's going to tell you 237 was the last one. Now it's 238. Okay? But it confuses me, so I don't do that. Okay? I follow along with the thing as I'm editing, and then I mark them then. Okay? But if you want to go through there, you can. Okay? Got it? If you don't, tell me. Guys, this is important stuff right here. This is very important stuff right here. So if you don't get it, tell me.
I mean, I get it from the point of having, you know, you do to make a little blue thing, right?
Yeah.
And then once you set that up, you hit control, or you hit the Shift E in hyperkeys, and it takes you to the first field. Then
no, Shift E is gonna makes the blue thing, makes the fill in. Shift E. I mean, E takes you to the
yes.
Yeah.
And then we fill it in. But I guess like Jack, then I'm the parenthetical with everything else in it.
Yeah.
I guess.
And that's gonna come later.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that?
We don't have to use the last field option.
You don't have to, but if you don't, then it's going to keep going. So if you're on page 1 and it takes you to page, yeah.
Okay, so
that's what it's talking about, the last field. It's going to take you to the end of that field and then it's done.
And then it's up to you to continue on your own
by
doing E.
But if not, and you don't push that last field, it's going to take you to page 187 where they mark the next exhibit.
Okay, so that's why you're saying, that's what I didn't understand. You're saying that you follow along with it.
Yes.
You have it as last field so that way you're not taking weight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay? Got it? Slick? Hey, quit yelling. Okay. There was also a little thing in there that said delete line if empty. You want to check that. So if you go through and I'll tell you why once we start doing like the title pages. So you don't have to go in there and do Control Y. If you don't put anything in that field and you just push enter, then it deletes that line. And that's what it's telling you right there. Delete line if empty. Okay? Got it? So do Shift E. Let's see if it does.
Are we in hyperkeys?
Yes. Because if you're not in hyperkeys, how do you do it?
Control A.
Control A. And that's it right there. Delete line if empty. Okay? So when you create a certain thing on your title page, appearance page, witness page, and there's not a line in there, but you have a blank blue line in there, like this, right here, well, you want to delete that line. So you go E, fill in the name, David Zarate. E brings you right here. Well, I don't need that line. So just press enter and it deletes that line. That's what that little thing is for. Delete line if nothing is in there.
So it'll only delete it if we have that check.
Yes.
I have a question again. I don't mean to be redundant to ask
No.
the same question.
I'm telling you, as long as the question's okay, if it's ridiculous, I'm going to smack you with that stick. But
Okay.
what?
The purpose of using the last field where he used it on the example
Yeah.
was because of what the parenthetical say, exhibit number. Obviously, when we made that field, he didn't check last field. He just wrote the field label. He made sure adjustable was clicked, and I believe he pushed OK, and that made the field, right? Or am I wrong?
Say it again.
He didn't, in the beginning of his tutorial, when he made the exhibit number field,
Yeah.
he did not check last field. He didn't check
Yeah.
last field
Mhm.
until,
Yeah.
oh, he did?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he did. He was just trying to tell you how to set it up. Then when he went through again, he showed you. Because you don't want to do last field in the middle of it. Like say it says states exhibit or exhibit number, and then it says party down here. This is where you want to do
The
last
end of
field,
the
not at
end
the
of
beginning of it.
That's what I was-
Okay?
When you're done with putting whatever
Yeah,
block file
yeah.
on that page.
Yeah.
You hit last field, okay.
So you're always going to have two. When you mark an exhibit, you're going to have two things to fill in. One, who marked it, and two, what number.
Okay.
That's it. So once you do the end of it, depending on how you set it up, like when I set it up, he set it up differently. Okay? He did the number first. Exhibit number 238, marked by blah, blah, blah. I do it, therefore, party, states exhibit, number, NO, blank field, then. And then that's where I put my number. So his was different. And that's okay. You can set it up however you want. Whoever you go work for, they're going to tell you how to set it up. But at least you're going to know how to do it. Okay? Got it? Slick? There's also a capitalization content in there. So if you want it all capped, that's where you would do it. Okay? So you go in there, it's Shift D, brings it in right there, capitalize contents. So when you're going to do like on your title page and it's a hearing or something like that and the date on the title page, all of that is always capped. Everything like on the title page, I always cap it. William Johnson, all capped, versus American State Bank, all capped. Because it's a title page. Okay? So stuff like that, you want all capped. So if you want it all capped, then you have to cap that. Got it? Hmm?
Should have her water.
Hmm. Okay, I'm kind of following some of this stuff because I want to make sure that everything is okay. What?
When it says, when the prompt for content, it can also be used when you're trying to fill in the names. Because will it be the same thing like for exhibits taken or by so-and-so?
Yeah.
So you can, when you create that field for the name,
It'll use the same name. It'll bring
just
up that
continue
name.
over
Yeah.
and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the number of the exhibit. And then you just change it as you go.
We may have to come back. We'll have to come back to this. I'll have to mess with this a little bit because you can create file names. Like when you do the month, you can already have all the months, whatever. So you don't have to go through their entire month every time. And I hadn't done it in a while. And I thought they showed a video on the tutorial of how to do it, and they don't. So you have to go through and read it. but I hadn't done it in a while, so we'll have to come back to this. And I'll do it in 2 weeks, okay? So we'll remember how to do it. But it's real easy because it's at 1 at Harris, and say you're in Harris County, you don't have to do Harris County every time. You just have to press number 1 and it automatically puts that information. So like doing it with your clients too. You know, say it's William Sutton, you know, and all you do is press number 1 and all of his information comes in. William Sutton was Sutton, Johnston, and Krzyzewski at 3000 Northwest Loop 410, San Antonio, Texas. You don't have to type in all that stuff every time. You could already have it typed in and just press number 1 and all that information comes in. But I'll have to mess with it a little bit, remind me, and I'll mess with it and we'll come back and do it. I just don't want to spend a lot of time on it right now. I'm trying to figure it out. But it'll kind of show you right here, like on the months. Where was it? And you press E, and it brings it up. So it brings up this list, and then you put add, and then you just add the months. So you'll have all of the months in this little list file, okay? And you don't have to go through and type the month in every time, okay? And the same thing with the clients, okay? So say you had, you know, Mr. Robert Bankston or whatever, and you go through there, and let's just say you want to, and see how it has it right there? All you do is put in client, okay? But say you want R. Smith, and it's Robert Smith, Esquire, and that's who you know it is. You put it in there, and it'll put that in there. Or if you want the whole thing in there, then there's a listing in there too. Okay, I just did it. So what it had here, it had that same thing, client, and then I put Robert Bankston, so it put this whole thing in there. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yes.
I thought you were supposed to put ESP.
And that's what it did right there.
Well, it has the whole thing written out.
Huh?
I thought we were supposed to abbreviate it.
Well, and you can. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. So, I mean, so if he's by himself, Esquire, attorney at law, then you can, and that's what it did. Right here, it just had client. So, attorney for the plaintiff, I needed Robert Bankston, and it opened the thing. All it had here was just client, okay? So if you go into yours, go in there, go into the tutorial, come down most of the way down. You already did it? Let's see how it filled it in.
Oh,
No, go further down. It's further down than that. Right there. We'll do E and do Sutton.
Do I just?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then enter. See how it's put all of this. See how it did it? Never mind.
So, are you
Get in that
saying
tutorial.
Esquire is for if they're by themselves, only one attorney?
I think so.
I thought it was for male, but now it's more common for both.
No, I think it's for both. It shows that I don't really know what it's used. I haven't even seen it used anymore. But I mean, if they have it in their name, then that's how you put it. So if they give you their card and that's the way it's listed, Robert H. Bankston, Esquire, then put it in the way that they have it. But if not, I really wouldn't worry about it. Same thing right here. You can do it right there too. Go to E. It's going to bring up the same thing. Robert Bankston.
You just put in the first two letters and it takes you down to whichever one.
Yeah. Press enter. Puts all of his information in there. See? You don't have to type in all of his information every time. So I'll need to mess with that a little bit, and we'll come back to it in a couple of weeks. Just remind me.
And that's for us filling in information, having it saved in a.
And that's in a list file. Yeah. Any questions about form fills?
There will be later.
Oh, I know.
And we'll go over this like 10 more times so I can understand it.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to spend much time on this. I think this is kind of redundant here. we've already stuff.
Let's see some of the choices that AutoMagic offers for dealing with untranslates and global replacements. In 2006, Eclipse introduced Global Magic. Just mark your notes and pick a choice off a list. It's that easy. You can still use the powerful and efficient globaling dialog, but it takes less steps to use AutoMagic.
All they're telling you right here, and we've already gone over this, guys, is once you've already done it, and let's just say you're one letter off, it's already going to tell you in AutoMagic, look, the last time you did it, it was pretty close to this. It was 4 strokes, which is what that little number symbolizes, the 4. So that's what I need. So push number 3 automatically puts it in there. That's what they're telling you. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this.
As soon as I put my cursor on the first part of this string first, so that saved me several steps. It's choice 3 on the AutoMagic list, so I'll press creating a dictionary entry, what Eclipse users call a trash global. And if I place my cursor on the first stroke and pick choice 3 from the understanding things that are not even in your dictionary.
Yeah, this one's already, we've already done this. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. And this is telling you, if you go in global something, you use the little arrows. You remember when it opens up the box, and you can add more strokes, less strokes, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to spend a whole lot, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because it's kind of redundant. Auto replacement's kind of the same thing. We've already gone over that, you know, when so when you've already replaced it once and you already kind of know, we've already replaced it and it just added 1 letter, didn't add 1 letter, it already knows what you did, okay? And it's gonna know next time, you know, kind of what you did, so you just choose the right one, okay? This is telling you globaling, remember that, 7, 8, 9, blah, blah, blah. And it'll global, 7 is 2, 8 is 3, 9 is 4, 10, 0 is 5, that. Remember the spelling button? What is that? Yeah. Alt S. Yes. Alt S. Use that. Very good stuff right there. Use that. How do you delete a word in hyperkeys? How do you delete 1 character? Shift D. That's what it was saying right there. All right. Nothing real fancy right there. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on stuff that we've already gone over. This is just telling you how to put stuff in your dictionaries. It's always going to come up Control M, which is the first one, which is your main dictionary. Now it's telling you Control J is a job dictionary. Control T is a trash dictionary. So when you put an entry in and you just want it for that job and you want it in a job dictionary, you don't have to go to that little box and change it. All you do is Control J, automatically puts it in a job dictionary. That's what it's telling you right here, okay? Right here, it was telling you that Control M is going to put it in your main dictionary. It's always going to come up as your main dictionary, usually always. But you always need to check that box, because if you're in a job and you've done job dictionary a couple of times it may come up as a job dictionary entry. So if you want it in your main, you may have to go and change it, which is Control M. Control M for main, Control J for job, Control T for trash dictionary. Okay? Nothing rocket science about that. Okay? Find and replace, do y'all remember that? So if you want to find something in that dictionary, say,
yeah.
What is it?
F, isn't it?
Huh?
F and hyperkeys.
It should be. Try it. If not, it's F5.
I believe it's F. Yeah, it's F.
Yes. So in hyperkeys, it's F. Find and replace, or Shift 5. So it should look like this, find and replace. Okay? So you want to look for the text, and say you want to look for Krzyzewski and you spelled it wrong, and you spell it with a C instead of a K. It starts, you know, it's spelled K-R or Y or whatever, and you spelled it, so all you want to do is go and find and replace. So you go through it, spell Krzyzewski the way that you spelled it, it's going to go there, replace it. How do you go to the next time? You don't want to do find and replace again. You just want to go to the next one. Control.
E?
You just
I thought I wrote it on one of my skills.
L.
L.
Control L.
Takes you to what?
To the next time that you hit Krzyzewski. So once you do a find and replace, and you can do it right now, do it. Do F on anything you're in. Type THE, the, enter. Takes you to the.
Just hit enter.
Yeah.
You just want to put us to put the and find the text.
Just find the next the. Did it do it?
Yeah.
Now do Control L.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes you to the next the. And do Control L again, it takes you to the next the, and the next the. So when you're trying to find and replace stuff, that's how you do it. You don't have to keep doing the find and replace, you just do the Control L, and it'll take you to the next one. All right, any questions about that? Pretty good stuff, pretty easy. Okay, we went over this last week, all right? Do Alt-N. Do it. Alt-N. And it's going to bring up this selection of stuff. So usually when you want a page break, y'all know what a page break is? So you want to go, say you're on page 34, line 3. And you want to make line 4 the next page. You want to break it away from that other one because you want to separate it. That's how you do it with a page break. Okay? That's what a page break is. But you can put a new page number, a conditional page break, header, footer, any of this stuff. Okay? Do you understand what that does? So you want to separate it. So say your title page is 18 lines. Well, you want your title page to be 25 lines, but you don't need it to go anymore. So when you set up your title page, you're going to want a page break to where it breaks from the appearance page. So it doesn't put them together, and you always have to do a page break every time you set it up. It's automatically going to do it. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Slick?
I'm trying to do an example for myself.
You're trying to do what?
I guess I don't really
Just go right there, just stop. And go right there to where
That's not
so you
what
want to do a page break. See how I did it? It's going to put it on a totally different page.
I don't see it. Should it be on page 2?
It should be. Go up.
Well, isn't there a way that we can actually
Oh, wait.
see the page break?
And do F and find it.
Oh, it's in the same spot.
Hmm?
Same spot.
We need to do it as a speaker. And from there on, you want it out, okay? Page break.
Here's another one. Might have to be that separated something totally different and then show the actual.
And what?
Is it supposed to make it a different page with a different number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, mine shows a different number, but it doesn't show the actual break in the page. Isn't there a way to actually see that?
There it is.
So,
See how I did it? So it was on page 1. I mean, it was on page 1, line 10. Now, and if you want to get to that page break, you have to arrow over, not down. Usually it won't do it going down, so you have to do it over to get to the page break. So if you want to take that page break out, get on right there, Control Y, takes it out. So what I did differently was that, and I had to press OK. I think I pressed Enter last time. Pressed OK. That put the page break in.
So does it have to be separate?
It shouldn't have to. It shouldn't. There you go. I think that's what it was doing when it was putting all those page breaks at the beginning. So every time we were hitting a page break, it was doing that. Yeah, I guess it has to be on a totally separate page or whatever, or a different speaker. And that's when I put it at the beginning.
I'm trying
We're checking some stuff right now, guys, so I'm going to go off just for a second.